Is Write a Killer Mystery. I'm Zara Altair, and today I want to talk about no suspects, no mystery. So, suspects keep your reader guessing, and when you serve up your mystery novel, your suspects are the main course. The victim triggers the mystery, and the sleuth leads your reader through the puzzle to discover the killer. But your suspects, through action and dialogue, create the mystery. Suspects lie, cheat, steal, and by their actions, they thwart your sleuth and your reader. So your detective must track down, examine, and determine each suspect's relationship to the victim. And each interaction with a suspect drives your sleuth and your reader toward the ultimate solution. So you want to set up your suspects for the ultimate payoff. Because the big payoff in a mystery is the final reveal of the victim. And your sleuth finally discovers who did it. To keep your reader guessing until the climactic scene, each suspect needs the motivation to sustain the sleuth guessing their involvement. So the guessing is what keeps your readers going. It's like you're planting all these hints and you're relating your suspect's personality and their motivation and their relationship to the victim. But what they're doing is, for whatever their reason, they're holding things back, they're covering things up. It may have nothing to do with the actual murder of the victim, but each suspect has their own personal reason for holding back from your sleuth. And also remember, for the most of your story, the villain is one of the suspects. And as your story progresses, the villain has equal weight with all the other suspects. You can even highlight one of the other suspects to keep your reader from guessing who the villain is. So early on in the story, and for the bulk of your story, so in a four-act structure, in acts 1, 2, and 3, all your suspects are going to have equal weight. And as your sleuth interacts with each one, you're going to bring up more questions. So give your villain a story and set up your villain with clues that will make sense at the end, but seem insignificant or irrelevant when you present them, because you don't want to highlight that villain. And that's how you set up your villain for that final payoff. You just keep trickling those little hints through and hiding them. So as you create your character background for each suspect, think of hints you can plant early on in your story that develop later in the story. You know, a novel is a big space, and when you plant things early, by the time your reader gets to later in the story, they may have forgotten those little seeds that you've planted. And you're going to give your sleuth and your reader more to tackle by giving the suspect a backup lie for the sleuth, because every suspect has a secret. And if you work on that secret and the lie they use to cover up that secret in your character development, you get to play with that throughout your mystery. So give your suspects reasons to hide their secrets, and the secret may have nothing to do with the actual murder, but the suspect has a personal reason to keep information from you, sleuth, and that's their motivation to hide the secret. So it may be that one of your suspects is carrying on an affair and wants to keep that hidden, and something about what they did in the affair conflicts with what happens with the murder. That's just one example. So the other thing is that I want to stress, and this is true for just about everything that you put in your mystery, you want to drip little sections rather than doing a giant info dump. So when you have information about your suspect that you want to reveal to your reader, just scatter them throughout your story as you go, instead of having one big section about everything about that suspect. It's actually more fun for your reader because they're trying to piece all these puzzle pieces together and see how they fit. And it's much more fun for the reader if you just give little hints here and there in your story, because you're going to give your reader opportunities to overlook some of these things, than focus on misleading statements. And I think that's part of the craft of creating a mystery. So scatter those setup clues throughout your story, and each time your sleuth encounters a suspect or thinks about a suspect, drop one small setup. Make your sleuth and your reader work to pull all the pieces out and put them together. You can use suspect replies to provide a variety of details. Your sleuth and your reader must sort through all the information. So if you have your information scattered and sprinkled through your story, it's going to be a lot to pull it all together. You're going to make your reader work to remember everything, and you make your sleuth work when they sit down and go, okay, I know this and I know that. So make them work, scatter those little hints about your suspects, and give them a rich background. It really helps bring those suspects to life and make them, human. Make them human. So as your reader wonders, you build suspense, and they wonder, is she the one? Each time they encounter a suspect in your story, they go, is she the one? Is he the one who did it? So you want to keep them asking those questions, and readers want to be smarter than the sleuth, but if you do this well and just scatter and sprinkle and hide and make things seem insignificant or irrelevant, it's really going to help create the suspense and the mystery of your mystery. And as you develop your suspects, you give your reader what they want: a difficult puzzle to solve. Okay, I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Suspects are so important, and the more work you do on character development and giving each suspect a rich background and rich reasons to hide things and be difficult, it's going to be a lot more fun for your readers and a lot more confounding for your sleuth. And then this week, I've been reading Black Leopard, Red Wolf, and I'm actually listening on Audible, and it's just amazing. So one of the things I love about listening to audiobooks is when there's an amazing narration. It's just a tour de force, and that's certainly true for this. There are probably at least 100 different voices. I'm trying to think, and the narrator does such a great job of fixing those voices in your head, because some of those characters don't appear until much later in the story. It's a very long story. It's a rich story. It took me a long time to get through. It actually took me months, because this particular story, um, Black Leopard, Red Wolf, um, has a lot of hacking and hewing, and it's kind of beyond Norse sagas for in that regard. And so I can only listen to a little bit of that at a time. But I do recommend it because it's so imaginative and wonderful. So highly recommend it. And don't forget, you can get a 30-day free trial of Audible by going to audible.com/write a killer mystery. All right, thank you, and I will see you next time.